Chapter 4. Jesus' interactions with Judas. Perhaps one of the most interesting relationships in the Gospels is the relationship between Jesus and Judas. The role Judas played in Jesus' death often overshadows the dynamics of this relationship. It is quite possible that 2,000 years of commentary has blurred the nuances of this relationship. This chapter seeks to understand what can be learnt from the interactions between Jesus and Judas. 1. Jesus chose Judas to be one of the 12 disciples. Matthew chapter 10, verses 1 to 4. And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits, to cast them out, and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. Now the names of the 12 apostles are these: and Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him. Like all the other disciples, Judas was given the power to heal the sick. He was sent out with the rest to preach the message of repentance. Matthew chapter 10, verse 5. These 12 Jesus sent forth, and commanded them, saying... It is not clear from the Gospel of Matthew when exactly Jesus knew Judas would betray him. Had he known from the beginning of his ministry, then it is important to note that he did not treat Judas any differently from the other disciples. The natural response would have been to keep Judas at arm's length, but, for whatever reason, Jesus did not do this. 2. Jesus spoke truth to Judas. Matthew chapter 26, verses 25 and 26. Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? He said unto him, Thou hast said it. And as they were eating, Jesus took bread, and blessed it, and brake it, and gave it to his disciples, and said, Take, eat, this is my body. When Judas asked Jesus if he was the one to betray him, Jesus replied with the truth. The disciples were at table in the middle of their annual Passover meal, but Jesus was still able to speak the truth while they were eating. To put this into some context in our modern world, many of us have special meals on Good Friday or Easter Sunday. It is in this context that we should view this discussion. Imagine answering a question about betrayal and deceit over Christmas dinner. Ordinarily, to maintain the atmosphere, we might deflect the question, answer with a partial truth, change the subject, or ignore the question altogether. But that was not Jesus. In the midst of the celebration, he was able to speak the truth to his friend, mentee, student, and companion. We must remember that despite the betrayal, the Bible does not teach us that Jesus rejected Judas. It was Judas who was not able to recover from his actions. At this stage, Judas was still being treated as one of the 12. Perhaps this ability to speak the truth and continue as normal is testament to Christ's forgiving nature. By this time, it is clear Jesus knew what Judas was about to do. But he was able to relate to Judas as normal, so much so that the other disciples did not notice what had just happened. As leaders, we should be able to speak the truth to those around us, irrespective of the circumstances. That being said, our truth does not need to be confrontational. While Jesus told Judas the truth, it was in such a way that no one else seemed to notice. It did not impact on or change the atmosphere. After such a frank discussion, they all continued eating. Nothing changed at all. The other disciples did not react in any way. We can only assume they understood the significance of the conversation between Jesus and Judas later, after the events of the succeeding days. Good leaders have the ability to correct their followers in such a way that those in the vicinity are unaware of what is happening. This type of correction provides space for the offender to change, if willing. It allows for a U-turn, as there is no confrontation nor trial before the event.
you.